Hey guys, and welcome back to the HellfireComms Ghiblithon for the penultimate movie we'll be covering in this ear marathon. And, it's a rather beautiful story. It's a folktale, I believe, Richie. Is that right?
It is indeed one of Japan's most famous folktales.
Very good. This is The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Now, if you've watched our Akami playthrough, you probably know how this tale ends, but now you get to see it here in full. I've heard it's a very visually beautiful movie. Then again, what Ghibli film isn't for the most part? But let's just get on and watch it. I haven't seen this all the way through. I've only seen Doug Walker's, Disney December, his own Ghiblithon review of the thing. So, yeah, if you need help syncing our commentary to your video file, check the video description for instructions. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Hokey Cokey, Richie. The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Give me them deets.
Yes, so Tale of Princess Kaguya, or as it is in Japanese, Kaguya Hime no Monogatari, came out in 2013, directed by Isao Takahata. It was his first, it was his fifth and final film for Ghibli, and his first since 1999's My Neighbours the Yamadas. So it took a long time for Takahata to come back out of the Yamadas, and he came back with what I would say is arguably his best film of the ones that he did for Ghibli. Obviously, Grave of the Fireflies is amazing.
Yes.
But I would say that this does perhaps just edge it out ever so slightly, because just in terms of the visual design and I don't know, there's something about the folktale of it that just makes it more magical. And it's just a stunning film. And I remember I saw it in the cinema. It's one of the few Ghibli films that I've ever actually managed to catch in the cinema, and it was the original Japanese version with subtitles, but it was just such a magical experience, and I just love this film so much. I mean, already you just look at it and it's like proper Japanese watercolour art style of the ancient art. So basically you look at Okami, is same art style, and it's just beautiful.
Nice little connection. In My Neighbours the Yamadas at the beginning, there is a bit where the dad cuts open a bamboo shoot and finds a child, which is the origin of Princess Kaguya.
Yes, basically they got that from the story of Princess Kaguya, because obviously, as I've said, the Tale of Princess Kaguya, or as it is more commonly known, the Tale of the Bamboo Cutter, it's the oldest extant Japanese prose narrative, but the oldest manuscript of it dates to 1592. So the earliest version we've got is actually a lot later than the story actually is, but there's a lot of history behind it, and it's amazing.
Let's have some voice trivia, please, mate. Who's the cast for the movie?
So you've got a few pretty big hitters. So the main voice for Princess Kaguya is Chloe Grace Moretz, who most people would recognise as being Hit Girl in Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And obviously she's doing quite well for herself. After that, there's a character who we'll meet later on who is voiced by Darren Criss, who obviously people would recognise from being Blaine in Glee, as well as being in the Star Kids musicals and various other things. He's pretty awesome. Then the Bamboo Cutter, who we see here, is voiced by James Caan, who is one of those actors who has had a very long career, but who you may not necessarily immediately recognise, perhaps?
Yeah, the name sounds familiar, but I can't place any roles.
Yeah, so he was Paul Sheldon in Misery. I feel that that's the writer, but I'm not sure. I'm just seeing if there's anything else on this list, and I'm not seeing anything that I personally really recognise. But His notable performances include roles in Thief, Misery, For the Boys. Oh, I think he plays the dad in Elf.
Oh, yes, I know who that is.
So he's pretty awesome. And then we have the bamboo cutter's wife here, who is voiced by Mary Steenburgen. Mary Steenburgen is most well known for being Linda Dumas in Melvin and Howard, and then she also appeared in Elf. So, nice little Elf reunion there.
Yeah.
So she was Emily Hobbs, which I'm not sure who that is in that, but yeah, she was in that. And she's another one who's had a long and storied career, and both of them just do a really wonderful job in this film.
Huh. Talk about a growth spurt.
Well, yes, definitely. I mean, Kaguya's definitely going to grow quite rapidly.
Although, is it a growth spurt if she, like, gets bigger but reverses in age?
Well, no, but... So, effectively, what has happened is that she came... Well, she grew from the bamboo, and now she's become, like, a real-life baby. But she grows very rapidly, and it's going to eventually earn her the nickname of Little Bamboo.
Oh.
Because she grows like bamboo.
Yeah, I'm definitely hearing James Caan's voice. Oh man, I still have to watch Elf this year. I haven't watched a lick of Christmas stuff. I've just been so busy editing movie comms for the internet. Oh, NTom world problems.
Well, I have to say, I need to make sure that I record Elf the Musical, because that's being aired on Channel 5 on Christmas Day, I think. And that's quite cool. I'm quite excited to see that. If only because I know that it was, like, the most expensive show on the West End. And it was there. So it's just like, well, I'm not paying to see it, but I'll happily watch it on TV.
Fair enough.
It's called breastfeeding. It's perfectly natural, but obviously it's not exactly something that you perhaps expect in a Ghibli film.
I certainly didn't.
But I will say, it's one of the things that is quite fascinating about The Tale of Princess Kaguya, is that it's very open and honest about this era of Japan. So you'll see boobs, you'll see elements of genitalia, because that's just what they were like in this sort of medieval time.
Yeah, it's weird to think that it is medieval, because when I think medieval, I think suits of armour and broadswords and fictional areas like dragons and whatnot, but all over here it was like samurai and whatnot.
Yeah, it would have been samurai and... Yeah, just obviously the whole thing of kids running around pretty much butt naked. That was a common thing. So, obviously, everyone saw this film and was just like, this is stunning. I think there are some people out there who say, it's a bit slow, it's a bit boring, yeah, I'm not really too keen. But the general consensus is that the film boasts narrative depth, frank honesty, and exquisite visual beauty. It's a modern animated treasure with timeless appeal. David Ehrlich of the AV Club said that it's destined to be remembered as one of the revered Studio Ghibli's finest achievements, and I would definitely agree with that. It's just one of those films that you just watch and you're just sort of stunned by how beautiful the visuals are, and I don't know whether it is all hand-drawn, but it certainly feels like it, and just some of the transitions are so incredibly stunning.
Right.
I mean, there's one scene that we're going to reach later on which it's insanely gorgeous.
We're talking about land being revived from Okami levels of gorgeous.
Different type of gorgeous.
Fair enough, mate. There are different shades of gorgeous, after all. But I have to say, I've had a bit of a long day recording, and I am a bit tired at this point. Obviously, commentary isn't hard work, but you talk for hours on end, you're going to get a little bit exhausted eventually. And this is just the type of movie I need to watch at the end of the day, because it's got a simplistic art style that's very, very easy on the eye, and it's just gorgeous to look at. And it's a folk tale, which I've always enjoyed. I like myths, I like legends, and I don't know, having it from like a different culture just gives it a bit more appeal to me, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, I suppose part of it is it's slightly exotic. I mean, you could argue that there's that whole thing of Orientalism, which is not the best thing in the world, but I think part of the reason why I certainly find like Japanese folktales fascinating is because all of the Western folktales are sort of so ingrained in everything that I've learned. It's particularly fascinating to see something that's come out of another culture that isn't familiar, and therefore you sort of pay it a bit more attention and you begin to understand where it's turned up in other elements of culture that you hadn't even realised it had touched.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously, The Tale of Princess Kaguya will have turned up in so many different forms, in so many different bits of media that have come out of Japan. And it's this story that has inspired all of that, and that's just something that's quite spectacular.
Oh, she's advancing really quickly. She's like almost walking, like she's crawling already.
Well, exactly. I told you she grows like bamboo. She'll be walking before you know it.
Nope, it's fine. I can walk now. Not perfect. Needs some practice, but she's getting there, bless her.
I know, she's only been out and about for like a day.
That was Frog Friend. Frog Friend left me. Thank you. I guess that was the audience surrogate.
Pretty much, yes, and that's obviously where she gets called Little Bamboo. Although, obviously in Japanese, her nickname is Takanoko, which is Little Bamboo in Japanese. And I think, on the whole, this is a very faithful dub, on the whole. Like, having watched the original Japanese and having watched this, it's pretty much, well, I'm not sure it's one-to-one, but it's pretty damn close.
He's very patient with the lads, I'll give him that.
Well, at least they're having fun, hey?
Yeah. Okay, now he's getting wary of it. What a good dad.
I know. And also, can I just say, what a beautiful score for this film. Guess who did it?
Lessa, is it Joe Hisaishi?
Yes, it is indeed Joe Hisaishi.
Oh my god, save some Ghibli movies for everyone else, lad. There's only one movie left.
But I will say, this is a particularly beautiful score.
I feel like a pleb for making this comparison, but I'm listening to the music and it puts me in mind of Kung Fu Panda.
Yes, that is a rather plebby comparison to make.
But I say it out of love, because the Kung Fu Panda score is amazing.
Oh yeah, I totally get that. I mean, I suppose part of it is because it is very Asian music inspired.
It's traditionalist, yeah.
So it's traditionally inspired of the music of Asia, which it makes sense why they would link together. But I will say, I just love this, and there's just it's that whole thing of having the running theme that plays throughout that comes to like link itself up with Kaguya. They just like some of them just have really beautiful names. So you have like the joy of living and melody of the beautiful koto. And there's a main theme which is, I think, played during the credits, which is called When I Remember This Life, which is performed by Kazumi Nikaido, which is also pretty beautiful. And actually, initially with Tale of Princess Kaguya, Shinichiro Ikebe was announced to write the film score, but in 2013, Joe Hisaishi replaced Ikebe as the composer, and it's the first and only time that Hisaishi has scored a film directed by Isao Takahata.
Yeah, mama boars are particularly vicious.
Indeed they are, and yes, this is Sutamaru, who is voiced by Darren Criss.
Yes, thank you, we've established that multiple times. At least they kind of, respect her a little bit, even if they are being funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, they just find it cool that she grows like one, but it's not that she's like a full-on weirdo, it's just like, oh, that's weird, I kinda like that.
Movie looks like a fucking picture card, mate.
It does. Like, I remember just watching this and just looking at it, just going, oh my god, just every frame of this film is a work of art. It's just so insanely beautiful, and really it sort of feels like the culmination of Takahata's style throughout his Ghibli films, because he was slowly but surely working his way towards this, and it's just stunning.
Is that, like, a subconscious thing? Because I don't think she was taught that song.
Maybe?
Of course I know how the tale ends, but I gotta keep it ambiguous for now.
Of course.
See, just a bit of a giggle, but she's in there as well. She's not excluded.
Exactly. It's just like, it's not that she is an outcast. She's just a bit weird, but they like it, and it's cool. I have to say, I really like that they did just take the that kind of folk song and just kind of just translated it, and because obviously there are so many times where you localize something and you take away an element of the culture behind it, but that is effectively, I think, a straight translation of that folk song, and that's just really awesome.
Another one?
Yes, another one.
Growing a whole crop of princesses over here.
It's not quite how it works. but he's probably going to find this quite useful, I feel.
Gold. Beautiful, lustrous gold. Turns out it's just corn. Yeah, could be worse, I guess.
No, it's definitely gold.
A gift from Kaguya, perhaps?
Not from Kaguya, because, Kaguya is just a child right now.
Yeah, very true. Or she wasn't at first, though.
No, but she is certainly so now. If anything, it'll be coming from forces outside of Kaguya herself.
I feel like My Neighbours, the Yamadas, actually prepared Takahata for this, because there's a lot of white space usage, which I think benefits the art style.
Definitely, as I said, it is that sort of progression through his films, and yeah, you go from Yamadas to this, and you can see the origins of this art style finally taking fruit, or blooming, I suppose. Because you can just see the care and attention put into every single frame, and I'm pretty sure that it is all hand animated, which obviously in 2013 is incredibly rare.
Yeah.
Because you looked at it and you're just like, it takes so much time to do properly, and most companies these days don't... Well, part of me says they don't have the budget to do it, but they definitely have the budget. It's just more they want to make more money more quickly, and therefore they don't want to dedicate the time to do 2D animation really anymore, so they have to do it digitally. And it's a shame, but I'm glad that something like this did get made. I mean, ultimately, I'm pretty sure that because it was all, I think, hand-drawn, it was part of the issue of why it ended up coming out when it did, because it was initially announced to release simultaneously along with The Wind Rises, as I said, when we were watching that film, in the summer of 2013, but in February of 2013, the distributor Toho announced that it was going to be delayed until autumn that year, citing concerns that the storyboards hadn't been completed yet, obviously because they were having to go through everything very carefully to make sure that it was just right. And also, this film is incredibly long. I'm pretty sure it is the longest Ghibli film of the lot.
Let's have a look. I got the list right here.
Oh yes, good.
Let's see. Laputa Castle in the Sky is 126 minutes. Going down. Howl's Moving Castle is 119. Wind Rises is 126. Tale of Princess Kaguya 137. Yep, that's the longest.
Yeah, because it's 2 hours and 17 minutes, and yeah, pretty goddamn long. So you can understand why it did end up taking just that bit longer to make sure that it was finished.
Yeah. Now imagine how long it took to make, Loving Vincent?
Oh my god, I know. Because obviously that is, like, every frame is painted based on the art of Vincent van Gogh, and that's just insane.
I want to watch that. I don't care if it's a movie com. I want you and I to have a movie night and for us to both watch that.
I am definitely down with watching that at some point. When that will be is a different kettle of fish, but I definitely would like to see it at some point because it seems like a pretty amazing artistic achievement.
So was that like a fruit he picked up? It was vaguely orange. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Or yellow, rather. Apparently I'm colourblind as well.
Yeah, I think it's some sort of fruity veg type thing. I'm going to see if I can find... No, it doesn't say it in the plot summary, for God's sake.
Oh, that's the important fruit plot.
But obviously, he was the farmer and this is his crop, that they have basically just nicked the thieving twits, but that's just how it rolls.
There you go.
I mean, to me it looks like some sort of melon, because obviously they're eating it like a watermelon.
Yeah, it probably was melon, yeah.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Alright, what's he found this time? More gold? Clothes fit for a princess.
Indeed.
It's almost like whoever left Kaguya here also left tools to help raise her.
Pretty much, yes.
Yep, told you, right on the money. Hmm. It's kind of sad, really, because the mum and dad, well, at this present moment in time, the dad wants the best for her, while they stay paupers, really.
Pretty much. I mean, it's the thing that is partially the most heartbreaking thing of this film, is that throughout the entirety of it, all that the bamboo cutter and his wife want for Kaguya, their daughter, is for her to be happy.
Yeah.
And for her to enjoy her life. And obviously the bamboo cutter thinks that what he is doing is going to make things right, make her, well, give her the chance to live as he believes heaven wants her to live and how she wants to live.
Yeah.
Whether that is one and the same thing is a different kettle of fish, though.
I didn't expect this much singing this early in the film for some reason.
I know, but it makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, she's old enough at this point to be a babysitter, so yeah, growing up like a bamboo sprite indeed.
Definitely. No.
Begone, Spiller, begone! I've listened to Ariette's song about 50,000 times since we recorded the commentary, by the way. It's so good. It's so good.
I know. It's the magic of Ghibli scores. They're just mwah, perfect. And yes, Kaguya has now finally graduated to being voiced by Chloe Grace Moretz.
Nice. Who was young Kaguya then?
A girl called Caitlin Leone, or Leone, not quite sure, but she's not linked to, she doesn't have a Wikipedia page, so clearly she can't have been in that many things.
I feel like the bird's just toying with him at this point. Well, he got his in the end. Or did he? Come on, you're killing me here, movie. It's okay, the bird broke my fall.
Brilliant! Well then, you just might have broken a few bones while you were at it, but hey.
Meal's a meal. Whee! Eventually. Falling very slowly.
You see, she's just trying to kind of do that whole thing of floating gently down the cliff face. That was the idea. Or a rope. I mean, a rope would probably be slightly better, but Ivy will do the job.
I thought she was going to activate healing mutant powers for a second, though.
No, she doesn't quite have those. Obviously, she can grow very quickly, but she certainly doesn't have mutant healing powers.
It's almost like he's read the script. Look on the ground there. Is that the script?
I know, it's just like, what foresight, eh? I mean, as long as it's long enough, it should be fine, but you've got to make sure you tie it to something quite nicely.
Princesses first. Ah, rush rooms. Perfect. Yeah, I'm still on that Breath of the Wild.
You've really been watching too much. Yeah, you've been playing far too much Breath of the Wild, Tom, to be going and making that joke.
No, you were right the first time. I've been watching Blind Waves LP of it.
So you've been watching and playing too much Breath of the Wild. It's even worse than I thought.
Yeah, I go hard on, like, one game at a time, really.
I mean, I totally get that. I pretty much do the same. I just maybe don't go quite that hard in just watching and playing it all. But yes, this doesn't look like it's going to end happily, does it?
Oh. That's it. No goodbyes.
No shoes?
No service.
Hmm.
What a somber moment.
Yes, it's one of many that will be in the tale of Princess Kaguya.
So is that it for the bamboo cutter and his wife in the story now?
No. Because they're taking her to the capital. They're still her parents.
Ah.
That hasn't changed.
I thought she was going to get, like, new parents. I mean, there was an awful lot of gold in that bamboo shoot.
Yeah, they're just going to buy her new parents, because that's totally how these things work.
I don't know. I haven't read anything about a slave trade, but I can make up historical facts.
Oh dear.
I know, I bring shame on this commentary group. I hear it all the time. Hey. Now we're getting into that real Akami shit.
Yes, this is effectively the moment where we enter Caan City.
Why do you look like a cat?
Because she does.
Kitty face.
Now, I believe that this is Mei no Warawa, I think. She is voiced by Hynden Walsh.
The name rings a bell, don't tell me. Hynden Walsh. Fuck it, tell me.
So she is Starfire in pretty much all of the Teen Titans stuff.
There you go, yeah.
She has been the voice of Harley Quinn before in certain things. She's also been in... she's the voice of Vridi in Kid Icarus Uprising and stuff following that. She's also, I believe, the voice of Princess Bubblegum in Adventure Time stuff. and she is Hitomi in the Dead or Alive franchise, although I think that might be dead at this point, I'm not quite sure.
No, that was just DLC for Dead or Alive 5, I believe. It was a mistranslation.
That was it, yeah. Yeah, you see, false news sometimes does occur, and it gets a little bit confusing.
We're rich now, darling. This is how the rich dress. All these beautiful kimonos to choose from. I'm kind of jealous, actually.
Oh yeah, they're gorgeous.
So if she's, like, legally a princess now, or whatever the term is, like, wouldn't she be in competition with other royals in the area?
Let's just say that at present she is more of a self-professed princess.
Okay.
Than a legal princess.
She's more of a celebrity in that regard, then.
Yeah, but it's mostly because her father has been going around saying, "The princess is coming, the princess now lives here." We'll see how that plays out in the grand scheme of things.
As you were. The animation on the robe is amazing.
It's because everything's just so fluid. I think the other thing that's particularly good about this robe is that obviously it's sort of translucent.
Yes.
So you get to see the animation of her body beneath it, as well as just the actual robe, and it's just beautiful. So yes, this is Lady Sagami, who is voiced by Lucy Liu.
Ah, I thought I heard a familiar voice there. She actually looks like Lucy Liu a little bit. I'm not being racist. Compare the two.
I mean, I suppose maybe sort of close, but the jawline's not right, and I don't think neither's the forehead. Either way, obviously most people would recognise Lucy Liu for being Lingwu in Ally McBeal, also being one of the heroines in Charlie's Angels, being Oren Ishii in Kill Bill.
Fuck yeah.
And also performing in Payback, Chicago, and also being the voice of Master Viper in Kung Fu Panda.
Yes!
I think she's also Watson in Elementary, which is obviously the American adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. And I don't want to say for certain, but I believe that Lucy Liu also voices the narrator in this film.
What, doesn't it list that down there?
It doesn't on here, which is really irritating. I'm going to see if I can actually find that. IMDb, are you gonna provide me with the goods?
Oh, Kaguya does not give a jot for tradition and standards.
Apparently, it's Mary Steenburgen who plays the narrator. So the bamboo cutter's wife is also the narrator, which I suppose works quite nicely.
It's very appropriate, yeah. Well, about that. It's a bunny. Was that a semicen?
I believe it might be.
It's just the first thing that came to mind, actually. I think Rexy and I may have actually been addressing it in our Spirit Tracks playthrough. Oh wait, no, that was a peeper, I think.
So it's not shamisen. or a samisen, because that is a 3-stringed instrument that effectively looks more like a guitar.
Right.
But if you bear with me a second, I should be able to tell you what this instrument is.
No worries, mate.
Oh, it's a koto. Thank you, film, for telling me just as I found it. So the koto is a traditional Japanese stringed musical instrument derived from the Chinese zeng and similar to the Mongolian yatka and various other things. It is actually the national instrument of Japan.
Ooh,
in general, they're about 180 centimetres in length and made from kiri wood, which comes from the Paulownia tomentosa tree, which is called either the princess tree, the foxglove tree, the empress tree, or the kiri. Native to central and western China. They have 13 strings in total that are usually strung over 13 movable bridges along the width of the instrument. And you can adjust the string pitches by moving the white bridges that kind of sit at the top of them before playing. And you pluck using 3 finger picks, otherwise known as plectra, so thumb, index, and middle finger.
Right.
And yes, so you effectively would play it like you would a guitar. Sort of, but you wouldn't necessarily fully strum it, you mostly pluck.
Just can't get used to having a hat on. Well, the roots, they go deep, my man. They go deep. Bit of isolation, I think.
She's gonna miss all of her friends, because you would. This is a very common thing with anybody who moves away from where they've been living for a while.
I just pictured, like, an ancient Japanese version of Inside Out, and that would be pretty dope, actually.
I had pretty much exactly the same thought.
I think we really did really well on our Inside Out commentary. Not to toot my own horn, but that was one of my favourites of Disney Fun 2.
That was a really good... It helps that Inside Out is just a really good film.
Fuck yes, mate.
I have to say, I just really want to see Coco now. For God's sake, Disney, Pixar, why are you making me wait in the UK, you twits?
I was really lukewarm on it at first because the trailers did not sell it, but the word of mouth's got me interested.
Oh, hell yeah. It's one of those things where it's kind of been a bit of a surprise hit, which I love, because obviously it covered... While it does cover the whole Day of the Dead thing, which has been done in media quite a lot at this point, some okay representations, some not so okay representations, and from what I can gather, Coco is a very well done presentation of the Day of the Dead and actually respects the culture it comes from. You know, it's times like this where you really need Army to just come round and just do a little bit of blooming there and be fixed right up, but I don't think that would... I mean, it might make Kaguya feel better, but I feel that her issues are running a little bit deeper than, oh, the tree's a little bit dead here.
Yeah. It's like, sorry, Magic Dog, who is literally a goddess, reborn or whatever. I kind of miss my friends. Well, it's always nice to have a hobby, you know?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's the whole thing of, well, what do you do when you're a princess and you've got, well, you want for nothing? Well, if you want for nothing, then what are you going to do with your time?
Seriously, why the kitty face?
I think it's to make her look slightly cute and slightly silly. And the joys of ancient Japanese beauty.
Yeah. I forget, is this Kabuki, or am I thinking of something completely different?
So, just bear with me a second. Internet.
Yeah.
Right. So apparently, the modern study of Japanese aesthetics...
Thank you.
Only started a little over 200 years ago in the West, and has gone on a whole different strain. So I think there's the whole idea of Shinto Buddhism having an effect on it.
Right.
And okay, this website, this Wikipedia page is not helping me at all. For God's sake.
Ancient Japanese kitty! Oh!
It's so kawaii.
Don't mock me and my rich Japanese heritage, Richard. I think that's the most serious I've been in all the Ghiblithon.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not Kabuki.
That's more play related, I think.
Yes, it's more to do with dance drama. That's what Kabuki initially was.
Theatre.
This is what it is. It's Hikimayu. Or at least that's part of it anyway. So that was the practice of removing the natural eyebrows and painting smudge-like eyebrows on the forehead in pre-modern Japan. The hiki means pull and mayu means eyebrows. Aristocratic women used to pluck or shave their eyebrows and paint new ones on. I think... So, it first appeared in the 8th century when Japanese court adopted Chinese customs and styles. Japanese noble women started painting their faces with a white powder called oshiroi. And one of the reasons that they kind of went with the hikimayu is that removing the natural eyebrows made it easy to put on the oshiroi. And at that time, the eyebrows were painted in arc shapes, as in China, and women also started painting their teeth black, which is known as ohaguro, which was most popular in Japan until the Meiji era. The idea was that objects that were pitch black were seen as beautiful. For some reason. 'Cause why not?
Isn't blackening of the teeth a, European thing as well? I could have sworn I read about that.
Historically, blackened teeth are known in China and in the classic of Mountains and Seas, which I think is a novel of some description. There's a description of a black-toothed country. And so it's mostly from China. The practice of blackening teeth continues among many minority groups in China, Pacific Islands and Southeast Asia, mainly prevalent in older women, though it is a practice still carried on by some younger women. Further west, I think that teeth blackening has been seen as far as Madagascar.
Okay, yeah.
But I think that's about as far west as it goes.
Right. It was probably just a Asian thing that I was reading then.
Yeah.
Finally. 50 minutes into the movie, almost, and we get a title drop.
I know. Took them long enough, eh?
Well, I haven't been bored so far, and that's a feat for what is essentially a slow-burning folktale.
Oh, definitely. Obviously, I should point out that Kaguya's name, which in fullness I think becomes Nayotake no Kaguya Hime, means shining princess of the supple bamboo. So, I believe, not 100% sure, I believe the Kaguya bit means the shining, and the because the Hime is princess. I'm just double checking that. Oh no, that's not very helpful to me. But yeah, ultimately her full name does just mean Shining Princess of the Subtle Bamboo, which makes so much sense.
It's kind of a raw deal that Kaguya doesn't get to experience any of this.
Well, exactly. It's part of the thing that makes her feel the most awful, because she's just stuck sitting for, 3 days and 3 nights, and it's just like, but this is meant to be her party. Why can she not enjoy it?
Like, shut up, I'm trying to sleep in here. I mean, after the first day, it was getting a bit long in the tooth, but by day 3, it's just wrapped around. It's awesome again.
But obviously these other guys are sort of going a little bit... Well, they're questioning things and just going, it's a bit presumptuous, is it not? I mean, is she really a princess? Is she really as beautiful as you're saying she is? And yeah, it's gonna get super awkward very quickly. And here is the scene that it's just a piece of animated perfection.
Ooh, I'm already getting chills, to be honest. Oh, yes, I remember this from Dog Walker's review. Oh my god. Ooh, I haven't had a chill like that in a long time.
I know, it's the one moment in the film where it sort of breaks art style, but it's so effective because as Kaguya goes through this struggle, just everything around her sort of loses definition.
Yeah, it starts falling apart.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just stunning.
So what, is she going back to the village now?
It's effectively where she wants to run to, certainly. Part of me, I suppose, wishes that had lasted a bit longer. Or that there had perhaps been a smoother transition back into the more typical art style. But I will say, it's still one of the most powerful pieces of animation that I've seen.
Yeah, that's up there with, the forest god getting his head chopped off in Mononoke, them reaching Laputa in, the movie of the same name, just pretty much every scene in Grave of the Fireflies, etc.
Oh, definitely.
Have they already forgotten her?
Well, this is a family that has moved in to her old home. And so, yeah, they look at her and just think, oh, this is just some sort of orphan child, I suppose.
Ironic she was a proper pampered princess not 10 minutes ago. I hope she hasn't forgotten her hunting upbringing, because she's certainly going to need it soon, living out in the wild.
Well, I have to say, she's probably not going to be staying out in the world that long, because obviously you tend to notice when your princess has gone missing. I know they're all a bit drunk, but you're probably going to notice it, and you could probably guess where she has run to.
Well, I mean, if there is no princess there, like the drunks were having a giggle about, wouldn't that reflect poorly on the mother and father?
It would do, yes. But the thing that's ultimately going to break Kaguya's heart even more is that all of her friends have gone.
Jeez. Not sure about that, but he's been cutting wood longer than I have, so I'll take his word for it.
I mean, it is something that it makes so much sense of. If you leave nature to itself, it will do spectacular things. And yeah, it's one of those things to do with a certain type of farming where people tend to rotate their crops around fields. So say you have 3 fields, you'll put one type of crop in one field, one type of crop in another, and one type of crop in another, because generally they want different nutrients. And so once one crop is done, when you do your next sowing, you move the crops around so that then the ground has got time to kind of renew those nutrients and provide different nutrients to the other plant, and that way you can keep a relatively sustainable thing going. It's probably a really bad explanation of that type of farming, but I'm pretty sure that's definitely a thing.
You're not a farmer, mate. It doesn't fall on you to explain agriculture to our viewers, okay?
Exactly, because, I don't do gardening. It's I love plants and trees and so on and so forth, but don't like actually planting them and dealing with all that sort of stuff, because, you see, it's manual work and it requires me to get my hands actually dirty, and obviously being a clean freak, that sort of just sends my brain just going, nope, 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 dirt, ugh, which is never helpful, and yes, unfortunately, that was all just a dream.
Well, at least we know now she has fucking awesome dreams.
Oh, definitely, yes. But yes, her dreams were correct because Stamaro has gone. And because obviously there's no chance she's going to see him again for many, many years, I think she decides that she has to go through with this, because what other choice does she have?
It's like a ghost staring back from the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
I always appreciate a scene that isn't afraid to have zero dialogue in it and show stuff just through actions and emotions.
And I think this is particularly effective because it's just sadness throughout the entirety of it.
Who is this person? Does she have a name?
So, as I believe I did say when we first met her, this is Mei no Warara.
Okay.
Completely butchering her last name, but let's call her Mei.
Okay.
She is effectively Kaguya's lady-in-waiting, so to speak.
Been out shopping again, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He didn't spend her bamboo money, it's fine.
Yes, at least that's something, hey. But I have the feeling the bird probably wasn't the best gift, if you ask me.
Ah, a trapped being.
Yes, the caged bird, a rather common symbol,
Yep.
I believe, throughout many things, but it is one that is certainly effective.
Yeah, I heard you the first time on, man. She's just very, very slowly illustrating JoJo Part 9. If Araki won't do it, I'll send for word through time.
Oh, God, Tom.
Sorry, gotta get the JoJo in.
Oh, well, thankfully Kaguya's going to free the bird and let it fly free, because...
Go away from the JoJo references, that awful ham-fisted commentary!
Exactly, and also, why should the bird be caged like she is?
Pity. Mercy. All the traits of a good princess. That would never happen in this day and age, I can tell you though.
Really? You really want to say that? Because I'm pretty sure it sort of would.
No, I mean being that close to the princess.
I mean, yes, I suppose. More if you're dealing with princesses, that would be a little bit of a challenge. But certainly celebs, I'm sure people would be stalking all sorts if she was this sort of mysterious figure.
I'm talking about things from a security perspective, mate.
Well, I mean, they're still blocked off at the gate, so that's pretty much what does tend to happen these days.
Fine. Oh man, that could almost be a screensaver for me.
It very much could do, and also I look at it and I'm just like, that if anything was going to be an Okami shot, that was an Okami shot right there. That was like straight out of Caan City.
Mm-hmm. Now you see, I see black and I think funeral, but that's a Western perspective, because I think white is the colour of death in Eastern culture.
I believe so, yes.
That's Babby's first Asian culture tidbit, by the way. Bit of comedy here, I suppose.
A bit of comedy, yes, but also a bit of social criticism, I suppose. Because you've got a whole bunch of noblemen who have come here today to try to court her, effectively. So, I believe... I'm not 100% sure which ones they all are, but I believe you have Ibe no Akita, Prince Ishitsukuri, Lord Minister of the Right Abe, Great Councillor Otomo, and the Mikado, I think. We'll hear all of their names properly soon, but Inbe no Akita is voiced by George Segal. Is, I think, most well known for being in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And obviously he's had a very long career, though nothing that I would necessarily recognise him from. You then have Prince Ishizukuri, who is voiced by the awesome James Marsden, who most people will recognise as being Scott Summers or Cyclops in the original X-Men series of films.
Yep.
As well as being Teddy Flood in Westworld. And also for being the prince in Enchanted. It's making me feel really bad that I can't actually remember the name of the prince in Enchanted right now, because... Oh, it's Prince Edward. That's it. I know it began with an E.
Yeah.
Eric, no, that's Little Mermaid. Just going through them. Then Lord Minister of the Right Abe is voiced by Oliver Platt. Most people would recognise for being, I think, in Flatliners, The Three Musketeers. He was also the Man in Black in X-Men First Class.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been in many other things as well.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing that I think we'd probably recognise. I think probably his famous one is being Dr. Daniel Charles in the Chicago TV series. Great Counselor Otomo is voiced by Daniel Dae Kim, who is most well known for being Jinsu Kwon in Lost, Chin Ho Kelly in Hawaii Five-0, Gavin Park in Angel, and Johnny Gat in the Saints Row series.
Oh, nice.
Then you have the Mikado, who is voiced by Dean Cain, who is most well known for being Superman in Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman.
Uh-huh.
He was the host of Ripley's Believe It or Not, and also appeared in soap opera Hit the Floor.
Don't think I don't see you there, Android 19. I'm watching you. Dr. Giro plays the long game when it comes to ruling the world.
He does indeed, yes. But yes, we are going to properly get all of their names right now, I think, so we'll see whether I got all those ones right. For God's sake. So, Prince Khurram is voiced by Beau Bridges.
Nice.
Who has turned up in Ghibli before.
Well, he was in the last film we did, wasn't it?
No, he was in From Up on Poppy Hill as Yoshio Onodera. So that's where he's from. There's James Marsden.
Uh-huh. Just a series of hype men for Kaguya, really.
Basically, yes. So there's Daniel Dae Kim.
Uh-huh. I didn't catch your name, last guy.
Yeah, we were missing middle guy and end guy.
The music of readiness is playing. Shoe Butterfly. You weren't needed in this shot, but you're beautifully animated, so I'll accept it. Like, is this part of the presentation? Did you train that butterfly to fly in and then out, and then she appears? If so, congrats.
Perhaps it's more she's sort of one with nature, and so the butterfly thought I needed to make this shot quite beautiful.
Oh.
Okay, so middle guy with the white face, that's Oliver Platt.
118. 19. Fuck! Got it wrong! Fuck! Joke ruined!
Oh, for God's sake, it's the one that I didn't even cover. So yeah, middle councillor Isono Kami is voiced by John Cho, who... Tim! So most people would recognise him as being Hikaru Suru in the Star Trek reboot, as well as being Harold Lee in the Harold and Kumar films. He is also FBI agent Dimitri No in the TV drama Flash Forward, and he's then been in many, many other things as well, and he's a pretty awesome actor. So that would mean that we didn't see the Mikado. And I believe... the reason we didn't see the Mikado is because the Mikado is the Emperor of Japan. So obviously he was not going to turn up just yet. But I'm sure he will turn up at some point, especially if you know the story of Kaguya.
Also, there was a line back there where one of the dudes said her music is out of this world.
Funny that.
Yes. I think Chloe's doing a great job as Kaguya. The voice work is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I think she was a really good choice for Kaguya. I mean, I have to say, Chloe Grace Moretz is a really brilliant young actress. Because she's only 20, but she's been in a lot of very high-profile films and done a very good job in pretty much all of them. And I think one of the things that helps, I think, is that she's got a very unique voice that manages to have an element of rasp, but she can cover the range of being both young and innocent and also having that deeper tone of the depression that comes with age, I suppose.
Yeah, the futility of life, fucking entropy. It's nice to see her happy again for a change.
Oh god, yes.
Beautiful.
And I think that's one of the things that I would say helps Twilight Princess Kaguya elevate itself perhaps just above Grave of the Fireflies, because it does have these moments of levity. It's still going to break your blooming heart, but it has that sort of roller coaster of emotions rather than just being relentlessly depressing like Grave of the Fireflies was. There is always a time and a place for a film like Grave of the Fireflies, but I need a bit of lightness every now and again, because otherwise I will just spend my entire evening just blobbing into a cushion.
She gonna try and see if the old crowd is still around, or is she just stretching her legs?
She just wants to climb up to go see the cherry blossoms.
I kind of like how messy some of the shots are. Not just like in that scene where she burst out of the palace, but
Yeah.
It is just like, traditional Japanese artwork where the lines on the face don't connect all the way around, etc.
Yeah, effectively the way it looks is a piece of old Japanese art come to life.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's what's so beautiful about it. Because it's not something that you see very often, if at all. And it just creates an utterly charming and utterly gorgeous style.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, maybe just know not to cry because royalty is here.
Clearly, yes.
What a well-mannered child.
I mean, my suspicion is it's slightly different to that. Because obviously there's something about Kaguya. What that is, we're not quite sure yet.
Well, we know, but they don't know.
Yes.
Now I've had enough, let's go home.
Yeah, it's just like she had that one moment of happiness where she could just be herself, and then suddenly she was a princess again, and that sort of killed the beauty of it.
Thanks, baby. Babies ruin everything.
Well, it wasn't the baby's fault, it was his mother's fault.
Babies ruin everything and their mothers do it more. Oh.
Is it bad that my head's just suddenly gone, one jump ahead of the
Red
red
line.
line, one swing ahead of the sword?
No.
I steal only what I can afford.
Yeah.
That's everything.
He looks exactly the same. How much time has passed?
Well, not very long at all, I would think.
No. It's a Kaguya. Respect the trademark. Damn.
And that's just going to make her feel worse, because she's the one who caused him to stop, and that's what led him to him getting caught.
Well, she's responsible by proxy, I guess.
Pretty much, yes.
Well, he's dead and he's learned his lesson. He won't do that again.
Well, thankfully he's not dead, but he's certainly not looking well after that.
Again, I have to praise the use of white space in the movie. I know it's part of the just the art style in general, minimalist touch, but it's beautiful. I did notice the ancient Japanese kitty had kittens, by the way.
As while we were talking, you may have just missed that 3 years have now passed.
Right.
As the noblemen go on their quest to find those mythical treasures, and Kaguya just continues to grow.
You think with the way she sprouted up as a kid to like a young adult that quickly, she'd be like 10 feet tall at this point.
I mean, you'd think so, but I think the way in which Kaguya has grown, this is sort of the age that she was intended to be.
Yeah.
And so they need, whatever her biology was, meant that she was going to grow to this form as quickly as possible.
Right.
And then she would grow normally after that.
What's the point of planting stuff if you're not going to stop and appreciate it every so often?
Exactly, and also, everything does look a lot different when you look from below. You see, this is why we had Arietti to show you that everything looks different when you're very small, and...
Oh, I would have loved, as like a little Easter egg, for a frame even, you see, like, Arietti in Japanese garb.
Well, you see, the slight problem with that would be that that would break the entire tone of the film.
I know.
It would have been a nice little reference, but Ghibli don't tend to do that sort of reference, especially in a film that is as serious as this one.
Well, I want fan art of that then.
Fan art is fine.
You deserve that, Dad. I think you're enjoying this a bit too much.
Yes, I think he's begun to lose sight, perhaps, of his original intentions.
Yeah, I was going to say the line between doing it for Kaguya and doing it for family image has become blurred.
Yes.
What was his gift again?
His was the jeweled branch, I believe. Yes, the jeweled branch from the mythical island of Harai.
Not, actual jewels, I take it.
So basically, it's meant to be from a jeweled tree. So, Harai is also known as Penglai in Chinese. And it's a mountain that is said to be on an island on the eastern end of Bohai Sea. And there are various theories offered over the years as to the real location of the islands. It's said to be the base for the Eight Immortals, or at least where they travel to have a banquet, as well as a magician called Anki Sheng. And supposedly, everything on the mountain seems white, while its palaces are made from gold and platinum, and jewellery grows on the trees, so that's where the idea for this comes from.
Has he just essentially dressed up any old branch as a Christmas tree?
I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, you best get back to your sitting, Matt.
I mean, it's a very beautiful jewelled tree.
Yeah, make a nice little knick-knack to put in the corner and then forget about.
Yeah. I mean, funnily enough, in my novel, one of the big things in it is a tree that is made of, like, gemstones and stuff.
Well, that's just a nice image in general, mate, so kudos.
Yeah. Can you guess what I called it?
Is it the jewel tree?
No, it's called Yggdrasil.
Oh, Yggdrasil. I don't know where I was going with that.
Yggdrasil, whatever the hell you want to call it, but yeah. I really need to go back and edit that thing now. I need to get on with it and get it published by the time I'm 25.
What are you doing here? In the middle of this? A commentary?
Well, you see, that would be my question exactly, but then I did sign up to this, like, earlier this year, so I kind of got to follow through with it.
I'm really glad we've done this, to be honest. Like, this is the penultimate film, and I'm glad we have, like, our own thing. Like, DisneyFon is everyone pitches in, but this is strictly you and me for every movie.
For better or for worse, yes.
Alright, Mr. Pessimist, just look at the jeweled thing and be happy. We've placated for once. No, I'm good, thanks. I can see it perfectly fine through my veil.
Yeah, and something feels off to me.
I think the other suitors have come.
Well, maybe not the other suitors, really. There we go!
Really? All this just to marry a princess?
Really? Yes. And he didn't pay them! And he has concubines, so it just gets worse by the minute.
Yeah, you better
scurry
run.
well, you cheeky dick.
So mad he can't even form coherent sentences. It's me trying to pronounce the name of the world true.
Pretty much, yes.
Oh my god, he instant transmission the fuck out of it. It's fine, he was a filthy ass hoe.
Exactly, yes. It was very beautiful, I have to say.
Yeah, pay the people and, like, put it in the front room or something.
Well, nobody's taking it with him, which just makes it worse.
Yeah.
So yes, Lord Arve said that he would bring the legendary robe of the Fire Rat of China. And basically the idea of this is that it can never burn.
Well, easy to test. What? Kaguya is, like, totally just... she's a stone cold bitch at this point, and she is just seeing through everyone's tricks and just not giving an inch even.
Really? You'd be doing this too if you're just like, well, if I was going to marry, I'd want to marry for love, and these guys are just old and creepy and pervy, and they said they'd bring these things for my love, and therefore let's test them. Let's see, can you actually bring me these mythical things that you know you can't get, and go from there.
Kudos to the guy. He's about to be proven wrong, and he's not shaking or anything.
I'm sure I'll be shaking in a minute.
Probably for the best that Kaguya doesn't have the authority to order executions right now.
Yes. And there it goes.
Give it a second.
Oh,
Oh, come on. It's gone. Just deal with it. You're already humiliated enough.
and now you see why he wanted to rescue it. That was his entire fortune that he spent on trying to make that fabric.
What a fool. Yeah, Kaguya's smart.
That's what you get.
How is this her problem?
Because you said it was fire rap fur, you lying dick. Oh, what a petulant child.
Yeah. Well, I think he's going to be there a while. Well, determination is one thing, naivety is another.
Yes, and I can't see this going very well.
Didn't realise we were watching Tales from Earthsea again.
No, we're more watching the death of the ship that led to the sunken ship in Okami, effectively, at this point.
Nice.
Not actually, but that's sort of the same gist of it. I mean, obviously, dragon in the sea, coming and wrecking a ship. It's basically where you're going with that.
Jeez. He wasn't just humiliated, he about to die.
Yeah, pretty sure you're gonna be shipwrecked before the storm passes, and you're gonna die.
Oh, come on, face death with dignity. You are dressed like a samurai. God, there was almost like no colour in that shot, and it contrasts really nicely.
Oh, definitely, because you go from the black to the white. Beautiful.
And then you have the blue and the yellow here.
So yes, this was the other thing. The begging bowl of Buddha Gautama Shakyamuni from India.
Uh-huh.
And Buddha Gautama Shakyamuni is, I think, commonly seen as being like one of the most important figures in Buddhism.
Well, duh.
Obviously, I don't think he is necessarily the original Buddha, but he. Oh no, he is. So he was an ascetic and sage on whose teachings Buddhism was founded. So yeah, he was the one who originated that entire religion.
Devotion sounds nice, but it seems to be a synonym for servitude, not love exactly.
Yes. But also, if you look at it, he just ended up killing a flower to bring it to her.
I don't know, it was a nice speech.
Beautiful speech. It's getting a bit creepy now.
Yeah.
Getting very creepy now, but he oh no, that's going far too far.
Jeez.
He's already married, so started well, and yeah, he's a complete perv as well.
Christ.
I know, it's just like, there was hope, and you could see in Kaguya, she was just like, is he the one who actually understands what I want? Like, this sounds like everything that I could have dreamed of, and then it's just completely decimated.
Idiot.
Yeah, he's not alright.
Christ. Well, I can't really marry anyone whose spine breaks so easily, so unfortunately he's a pass.
Yeah, and also he was probably super creepy as well. I mean, it seems to be the running trend with those gentlemen.
Yeah, none of them really seem true, and that's the problem.
I think the thing that's then hit hard is that in the quest that she set people, somebody died, and she's utterly responsible for that. And that sort of killed her on the inside.
Well, there's only a small group of nobles that are miserable, but that's their own doing.
Yes, but she can, like, somebody's died. Like, his entire family will be heartbroken. 2 people have died, actually, because obviously the other soldier on the boat.
Yeah, ooh, I forgot about him already, yeah.
Yeah, he won't have done very well out of that, so pretty much completely buggered. But yes, here at last, we see the Emperor as voiced by Dean Cain. So, he's here called the Mikado, largely because I think that was the term used very commonly to as a name for the Emperor of Japan. These days, that's now considered obsolete, so I think we tend to just say the Emperor of Japan or the Emperor. In Japanese, the Emperor is called Tenno, which translates to Heavenly Sovereign. Because obviously there's a whole lot of very important religious symbolism behind the imperial line of Japan.
Well, you would want to reinforce that authority, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the whole idea is that Japan was founded by Emperor Jimmu, who was said to be a direct descendant of the sun goddess Amaterasu.
Oh, well.
And pretty much, I think, the line has sort of effectively followed through, and there's that whole thing of divine right that certainly held true to the kings of England.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you get to Richard III, and that is the end. Well, actually no. Richard II is effectively the last true king of England, because every king after that sort of ends up taking over from each other. The last, I think, one of that line is Richard III, because he was the last Plantagenet king. So our current kings and queens, well, the current queen, obviously, isn't seen as a divine ruler, but obviously the kings of the day certainly were.
Yeah, how do you even respond to that? I do like the framing here.
Oh yeah, because you can see her mother just going, I can't believe that you've done this. And her father's just like, I don't know how to compute this because I thought I was doing everything for her.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he was really effectively sort of doing everything for him, but he thought that he was doing everything for her. And so he sort of just like, I can't believe I've made my daughter feel that way.
Well, hopefully he's wised up now.
You would hope so.
It's come a long way from being a humble bamboo cutter.
She has indeed. And he has as well, yes.
That's who I was referring to, yes. She's more of a bamboo cutting, if you will. Alright, it's time for me to emperor it up. My hat looks like fly wings. She's really proficient in it.
Really, really damn good. And it's just gorgeous to hear this traditional instrument being played in the way that it was always intended to, and whoa, stranger danger.
Wow. I'm gonna have to check the reviews on that one.
That's not how this works, if you ask me.
Ooh. I like the sudden change of tone there. She almost vanished like a ghost.
Really, it's at this point in the film where you begin to see that. Obviously, we knew that there was something peculiar about Kaguya, but it's sort of beginning to fully form
Yeah.
as to really what that could be. Yeah, that's not how love works, mate.
She didn't even have to raise her voice, but you could feel the anger there.
Oh yeah. And also you can see just how much effort that took to be that still and that calm to get through that, because obviously now it's like she feels abused and dirty and yes.
I wonder why. She's kind of regressing a little bit, it seems.
Well, it's kind of full-blown depression.
At least the father's listening now. Well, imagine if you knew nothing of this and this hit you out of nowhere like a freight train.
Yeah. The thing is that obviously everyone in Japan knew that this was coming, but anybody in Western cultures, I mean, particularly anybody who hadn't really had any foreknowledge of the tale of Princess Kaguya or the bamboo cutter, this would have been very surprising, because yes, Kaguya originally came from the moon. And that does begin to make a lot of things make sense. Obviously, the prevalence of the moon throughout the film. But also, do you remember when Kaguya was drawing when she first got to this house? And she was learning to do like the calligraphy. She drew a rabbit. And in Japan, anyway, rabbits are very commonly associated with the moon because of the whole idea that the markings on the moon is a rabbit pounding mochi.
Right. Of course you told me that during a call, though. So did the moon people just get tired of raising a princess and it's like, yeah, just let the Earthlings do it?
So, it's a bit more complicated than that. So, there is a story which I believe Kaguya is either saying now or whatever, of a resident of the moon went to Earth to experience immortal life,
Right.
and then came back and used to kind of sing of her time there and sort of mourn everything that she lost. And Kaguya wanted to experience that mortal life, and so she broke its laws, hoping to be exiled to Earth to experience that mortal life. But now, having gone through what she did with the Emperor, she silently begged the moon to help her, and now it's coming back to reclaim her. Despite the fact that really she doesn't want to leave, because she loves her parents, she loves this world, and it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah. Once again, Chloe doing a fantastic job.
Oh god, yes. Oh god, the tears are already here. For God's sake, we're not even at the end of the film yet.
It gets worse, trust me.
I know, I've watched the film. Both times, including when I was at the cinema, just tears streaming down my face. And that was when I was with friends. Like, normally, when I'm with friends, I manage to sort of compose myself a little bit. But when I'm on my own, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I don't even care about people around me. I'll just happily let the floods go. Same with family. Both of those, I'm just like, yes, this is fine. But when it's friends, it's a little bit more complicated. I'm still quite happy to have a bit of a cry, but it's just like the cinema. You don't want to make a noise.
Yeah, you don't want to make a scene.
Yeah, you're allowed to have a cry, but you don't want to be going because then that's just being really noisy, and then that just completely decimates the whole mood of what you're watching for everybody else, and that's just inappropriate.
I think her enough praise to her mother, because her father really takes most of the screen time, and she's a pillar, a rock, if you will.
Oh, definitely. And I think it's one of the things that's just really nice about the film is that the Bambi-Cutters wife is she's sort of the emotional pillar of strength throughout the film.
Yeah, I mean there is Mai, but it's just not the same.
Well, yeah, she's not really an emotional pillar of strength. She's the comic relief, effectively. Also, one of the things that I really appreciate about the way that they use this song is that, obviously, whenever it's everybody else singing it, and they're singing about the sun, it's always in, like, a major chord.
Yeah.
But the second Kaguya starts singing it, it immediately goes into minor.
Yeah, it's a bit disconcerting.
And so it's very dissonant
to
the rest of the song. But obviously, it's that sort of mirror image. And it's very effective.
There's that second chill. Neither was she until now.
And here we get the story that I mentioned earlier. Getting a bit ahead of myself there, but obviously... Yes, but this is the key that is so heartbreaking. Upon returning to the moon, she forgot everything, all pain, all emotion, but still deep in her heart somewhere she remembered.
Yeah.
And she cried. And that's the thing that's going to be even more heartbreaking, because if Kaguya returns to the moon, she's going to forget everything that happened here.
Which home, though? Which home?
Well, I think you know which home. It's home in the mountain, with Damaru and her friends, because that was where she was happiest, being at one with nature.
I mean, the moon's a part of nature, I suppose.
Yes, but obviously being at one with earthly nature, terrestrial nature.
So having a quick go around, a once over before she leaves, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I mean, she knows that one day, very soon, she's going to be taken back to the moon, so she wanted to experience this one last time.
I mean, there's fuck all on the moon. I only saw one building there.
I know, it's pretty depressing, although I'm sure there's probably other stuff there as well. Wow, that gentleman looks a bit familiar, does he not?
He sounds familiar, too.
Yes, you will be right in saying that this is Stimaru. Looking a lot older than he did before.
Well, time has passed.
Time has indeed passed. I'm not sure it's quite clear. Obviously, there was at least 3 years between when Kaguya last saw him. But, obviously at this point it must be more because he's clearly in his sort of at least mid-20s by this point, you would think.
Oh, this is awkward. He's a family man now.
Yeah, he's got a kid and a wife.
He was here all along.
Here, with him.
I mean, if you think about it, living in a mansion, her house had everything she needed, her parents, eating fine food, the food she was provided, and, what was that last one, company?
I think so, yes, but the company's never fun when it's people that are not your friends.
Check it, old school style.
Mm-hmm. Even in a kimono, she's quite happy to get down and dirty and farm the plants. That's quite a powerful message, I feel.
Well, bit worse than that.
I mean, there's a slight problem with that of, you have a kid and a wife, but I suppose there's that whole thing of your first love does tend to be one of the most powerful ones.
It's weird, I should be feeling dread here, like, even if I didn't know the story, but it just seems like inevitability, just calm, reassuring inevitability.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's resignation. It's not the dread of it coming, it's the fact of she's resigned to it, we're resigned to it, and it's just that sort of melancholy. And there's a bit of hope here, and it's beautiful, and it's going to lead to another really beautifully animated sequence. There's no dread to feel because you know that there's nothing that you can do to stop what's coming.
Oh, it'd be really awkward if the wife came along right about now.
Be really awkward, but thankfully, I don't think she will.
Look at us, just a couple of worrying, laughing fools. What?
Yes, she can fly.
I can't. No, that's the sun, that's not the moon. Kaguya, we're still flying.
That's part of the magic.
Ew. This is like a mirror image of the palace escape thing.
Oh, definitely. Because obviously that was so dark, and this is so bright and light, and it's a wonderful counterpoint. I think because also that was Kaguya's moment, like her darkest moment, and so obviously everything was much messier because everything was falling apart. Whereas here, the lines are much more in the normal art style because she's happy, and it feels like things are together, and there is hope.
Okay, but riddle me this: is she actually flying like a superhuman, or is this just a metaphor?
No, she is actually flying.
Moon person powers, I guess. I mean, you know, time's time and all that. He's gonna leave me in the sky? Seriously. Hmm. So did that even happen?
I'm not sure. I think it is, but thanks to sort of moon magic, it just puts Dimaru back where he was, and Kaguya ended up leaving. And obviously, Dimaru just thought that it was a dream, and so he can go back to his life and continue to be happy, but that doesn't leave Kaguya really able to do anything.
Shame we're not recording this on August 15th.
Yes, but I don't think that would really change much. I suppose since we are coming up to the finale of the film now, and I'm probably going to spend the end of it a complete mess, I will point out that the Tale of the Bamboo Cutter does continue past the end of where the film stops. If you want to listen to that story, go watch our Okami playthrough because that's where I do go into it. It's all to do with the Emperor going to a mountain and there being sort of peace there at last. But that's not important because this is the tale of Princess Kaguya, and this is where her story ends, effectively.
It's funny because they're just coming in complete peace to take her home.
It's the whole thing of there is nothing that any of them can do to stop this because these are the people of the moon. They are not bound by terrestrial laws, so they are putting everyone to sleep so they can just take Kaguya back. And I think the thing that makes this like even more heartbreaking is the fact that the music right now is just so happy,
Yeah, very much so.
and obviously that is not the pervading feeling of this moment.
I'm not entirely sure what to feel here. Like, I'm a little bit afraid, but also kind of sad.
I think the feeling that really you're meant to feel is sadness. I mean, ultimately, the tears have started to roll now, so I'm basically gone at this point. But yeah, it's just that sadness of the people of the moon have got her now, and she's going to forget everything.
At least she went with dignity and grace. Oh, this is just cruel. How did they even make it up to the cloud? Did the moon
magic,
people
just go with that. Just go with that.
Okay. At least she gets to say goodbye.
At least she does, yes. If only she could.
Oh, well, she did.
I think that's the most cruel thing, is that she's saying they all feel compassion, and then that compassion is taken away from her, and her memories are gone. And that is the end of the tale of Princess Kaguya. And yeah, it breaks my heart every single time I watch it. Every single time.
Bit different, how it was handled in Akami. She went back to the moon in a rocket ship.
Yeah, and she was quite happy about it in that one, whereas here, obviously, it's a lot more heartbreaking and much more accurate to the original folk tale.
And they just have to get on with their lives now.
Their daughter is gone.
You okay over there, Rich?
Yeah, just crying, as I told you I would be. Like, this film always leaves me in a mess by the end of it, but I think that's part of why I love it, because it's able to hit right in the heart there, and that's always the mark of a powerful film for me, is where it manages to achieve something where it does actually make you cry.
Yeah, at least when they look up to the moon, they'll always be able to remember her, even if it's not returned.
Exactly. And also, because Kaguya has been to Earth she will be just like that other resident of the moon who still had some memory somewhere deep down inside her heart that made her cry and yearn for where she thought her home was. And that is that. Like, I can't praise The Tale of Princess Kaguya enough. It's a beautiful film. Art style is phenomenal. Music is gorgeous as well. The dub, I think, it's a really damn good dub.
It's really good, yeah.
It's just a gorgeous film. It is perhaps slightly on the slower side, and that bit, I think it's telling exactly the story it wants to tell in the manner that is befitting of its heritage. It is a Japanese folktale at heart, and it is told in that manner. And I think it is an animated masterpiece. And while it's not necessarily for everyone, it is arguably one of Studio Ghibli's greatest achievements, I feel, in terms of animation. And I think it probably is my favourite film from Isao Takahata.
Uh-huh.
And I'm very glad that he did get to make it. And so, yeah, I think, on the whole, I think I'm going to have to give it an A+, because I do just love it that much, even though every single time my heart is broken at the end.
I mean, the S rank is available if you want to go there, mate.
So, I mean, yeah, fine. I'll give it that S rank, because I think it's just one of those films that is just incredibly special and incredibly powerful, and it's mature and poignant, and it's just wonderful.
I'm going to agree with all that. It was going to get an A- anyway, just because of how the animation is used. Like, it's not enough to just be a good-looking film. The art has to improve the story instead of just being a visual gimmick, and I think it did. It was understated at times, powerful at others, emotional throughout, and the simplicity helped convey those emotions. Like you said, I think the dub was fantastic, and it really helped me enjoy the film all the more. Story is great, it's a wonderful folktale. Music, fantastic. Even for like the longest Ghibli film, I thought the pacing was pretty well done. So I'm going to have to give it an A+.
Success.
One of my favourites, and I wasn't in tears at all, but I'm feeling a few things right now, so I think I'm going to have to go play a video game or two to dumb down me old ticker again, so... Hey, a man can't feel these feels 24/7. He'll have to go back to the moon and forget it all.
Don't break my heart further.
Well, I'll just say thank you for listening to our commentary on The Tale of Princess Kaguya, the penultimate film in the Ghibli collection and our penultimate commentary in the HSC Ghiblithon. Tomorrow, we take a look at the final one in either of those things, When Marnie Was There. See you then.